Patrick, guess what came in the mail today?
Oh, what?
This.
Stick it in!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host, Mac, joined here as usual by my co-host with the most. You love her, you know her. She's got a dog named Molly, and she loves her very much. It's Kristen, aka Miss Flamingo.
Hello, Mama. Hello, Mama. I know you can't hear me, or you don't really listen.
Is that your nickname for Molly?
Yes, we also call her Molly Pants. My dad likes to call her that.
The Momo's cute. Oh my goodness.
Mama. I call her all sorts of names. She's a silly girl. She answers to everything. Especially, of course, when you have a tweet. You gotta have a tweet.
Oh my goodness. My cat does not do the same thing. His name's Egypt, and he's a grumpy old man. That's a 20-year-old.
Grumpy old man mentality, for cats. I think they're like, just leave me alone. Don't bother me,
Pretty much, yeah. And it's just like, yeah. But yeah, welcome back to another episode. We're excited to present you a little special. We're not doing any news. We're just going to go straight into two reviews of
It's a double feature.
Woo! Sound like a fire truck. It was outside.
You gotta insert fire truck sound.
I probably will actually. But we're gonna cover two films. One film that was kindly sent to us by Lionsgate. You Can't Run Forever, starring the talented J.K. Simmons,
Academy Award winner J.K. Simmons.
Yes, and it is directed by Michelle Schumacher. We'll be going over that film, and then we'll be going over the newest David Leitch film that we talked about. We mentioned with Talking TV Dom. We mentioned on his show. We were both guests on his show. We're going to talk about The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and we're excited to just talk about these two films. And we're going to start off with You Can't Run Forever. So, Kristen, what is this movie? Formerly titled The Woods, You Can't Run Forever. What's this movie about?
All of the fittest. You're either predator or you're prey.
This is what matters.
You Can't Run Forever. All right. Directed by Michelle Schumacher. Here we go. It stars Miranda, a young woman already suffering from an acute anxiety due to the past tragedy, faces a new terror when a serial killer chooses her as his new target. In a harrowing hunt through the woods, Miranda finds strength she never knew she had as she tries to indulge her mysterious attacker. Academy Award winner J.K. Simmons stars in a spine-tingling thriller about the strength of family and the astonishing power of the human spirit. There we go.
It's that was like, I was waiting for more, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell, honestly.
So I'm looking at some of the notes of the film. Is that this film they announced this back in like 2021, so it was like full 3 years ago they announced this movie, and they had just wrapped filming in 2023 in January. So this movie has kind of been in the pipeline for a while now.
And I need to tell you this is a family project, because I don't know if you know this, but Michelle Schumacher is married to J.K. Simmons.
Really?
Yeah, so this was like all of my research. Like, I knew he was married to somebody in the industry, but I forgot it was her.
Mm-hmm.
And then this also stars their daughter, Olivia Simmons. So if you remember in the film, there was a girl named Emily.
Yeah.
She was the blonde one. She was like the other stepdaughter in the film.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Miranda has a stepdaughter, not stepdaughter, but, a stepsister, played by Olivia Simmons. So, so that was something I did not know. But Olivia's character doesn't have like a huge role. She's more of one of the supporting ones. But Miranda is played by Isabel Anya.
Mm-hmm.
So
that name sounds familiar. Why is that name so?
But then it's got like Grant Patrick, Alan Leach, and J.K. Simmons. But so they're like all in this film, and it's pretty much an intense thriller all the way through. I was looking back at Michelle's previous work, and she directed another film, which is more like a drama piece that's just called I'm Not Here, which I'm kind of familiar with because as someone who is a fan of Sebastian Stan, who's in that, I need to watch that. But it had like a lot of people in that film. This one is kind of like a smaller scale with the big names.
Yeah.
But in this film, it's nonstop. It goes straight into it, like into that action because Miranda's mom is pregnant. Miranda's mom is married to this guy who has got Emily in his circle. That's the one. Drama happens with J.K. Simmons' character.
Mm-hmm.
And this film is pretty much the way you see it as. And J.K. Simmons' characters kind of says it in the film, but it's pretty much survival of the fittest. That's the way I kind of saw it as.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And it's interesting to see because there's like little details that like you don't understand why J.K. Simmons is going after Miranda in the film. Like I'm sitting there for like a good hour and I'm like, why is this man still chasing this girl? Like, and there's not a reason. Because this J.K. Simmons is a killing machine. Like
Yes,
you
he
saw
is.
the opening, right? Like he killed the guy who has like a barking dog. This is like not a spoiler. It just really just automatically happens. And I will say I was pretty mixed on how this movie is. I think the
Same.
saving grace for this film is definitely J.K. Simmons.
Well,
Is it his best
the thing-
performance? No.
That's the thing with J.K. Simmons is that he, no matter what you give him, whenever he does commit. Like even if it's a role of like, just like, hey, this is a movie. Like obviously this is gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna help my wife. My wife's making a movie. I'm gonna be able to work with my kids, and at least he's gonna give it his all, and he does give his all. And I think that his character is probably the best out of the bunch.
Even if it's in like the Justice League.
Well, that wasn't his fault. That was Joss Whedon's fault.
So, like, J.K. Simmons is an actor. He even gives in those the insurance commercials. You
Yes,
watch him in the insurance commercials. I love those insurance commercials.
The not Liberty. What is it? Farmers Insurance. Yep.
We are farmers. But like even he was fine like in like so many other projects like Being the Ricardos. Like, say what you want about Being the Ricardos. I know that's like a pretty mixed movie about,
Well, it just did it. It was just weird. The documentary they had, Amy Poehler did was better.
But I will say J.K. Simmons can play a good serial killer.
Well, J.K. Simmons has like a good. He's
crazy man mentality.
Yes, like he's either angry or crazy, and I mean, if you've seen Invincible, he plays that role both.
Mm-hmm.
And or even like I think his greatest role being in Whiplash, he plays angry all the time.
That will always be like the best performance he has ever done.
I think it's like it works for this one too, and it's just he brings that intensity, and you know what? Well, I'd say in another movie, it'd probably be his character could be more fleshed out a bit, I wish, but
this character is not really as fleshed out as I really wanted it to be, even though the point of the film, I think what Michelle's intentions were is to keep the audience guessing and slightly keep them on their toes, but I wish she was a little bit more fleshed out because you really don't understand why he grows the insanity that he is. The way I saw it as, do you remember the film Unhinged with Russell Crowe?
Yes, that was the movie that came out on Prime, like when
that was like one of the COVID movies.
The first movie to come out like during COVID for like the theater.
Yeah, it was like one of those. So like I remember seeing that like at a drive-in. But anyway, it was like that mentality where you just have a crazy man and he's just after that. But that's the way I kind of saw him as, But like the more you learn about his character, the more I don't have really so much remorse for him. Like they kind of to make you, the only person that the film tries to make you feel bad for is Miranda, and then played by Isabel.
Yeah.
And then the her mom.
Yeah.
Which is Fernanda Lugia. I'm not.
I think it's
I'm
Urjolo, like Urjolo.
Jorlo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Who was in Narcos actually as
Yeah,
Diego
she was in
Luna's.
Narcos. She was
Yeah.
also in Cry Macho with
Yes, she was with Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. So, and then I know this from watching stuff like on Freeform and ABC Family, but she was in the remake of Party of Five. That's how I also know her from.
That's a throwback. I haven't heard that title in years.
That was like that was like the 2021 remake.
Did you watch the
Pretty
original
recent.
Party of Five?
I've seen parts of it, but I haven't seen the original. Like
you're older than me, so that's probably your little, like, you probably know the original, and I'm like, what the hell is Party of Five?
Yeah, well, no, the original Party of Five had, like, Neve Campbell.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that where she
And
got her
Scott
start?
Wolf and like stuff like, that's where most of them, the 90s stars, got their start.
Oh, I might have to check that out.
And Matthew Fox and stuff like that. Oh, and Lacey Chabert, I forgot. I forgot she was in that too. I'm sitting here thinking about it. Yeah, I remember. Like all the good like 90s stars that we pretty much got to knowing. But anyway, back to the film. The film tries to also have as many twists as possible, which we talk about here on A Good Twist.
It's a little cliched, but
it tries to have it here, but then I was like, okay, I see where this is gonna go. I mean, I think the ending is pretty solid. Like, the one scene I would want to talk about would involve spoilers, and I don't want to say what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a reason to watch this film, it's for J.K. Simmons. But then everything else after that, with the characters involved, that that you want a good story for, then that's it. And then, I need to talk about the police in this film, because the police don't do anything in this film. They're like, oh, we need to wait on the sheriff, for steps to go forward. And there's like stuff that Emily is doing, and like, Miranda's mom are doing. Like, they're doing more than the actual police.
Listen, that happens in all these types of movies where it's like,
so like I was waiting for that,
yeah.
and then like there was one twist like I thought was gonna happen, and the twist was that I thought J.K. Simmons was the sheriff, and that's why he was going on this killing spree. Like maybe he had like a mental thing.
He like had the he like a crash out, like mental breakdown.
Yeah, no, more like, like he was a sheriff, and that's why he was killing like all these people. Like he's a killer during the day, and then nighttime he's like the sheriff. Like lives a double life. Like that kind of thing. Like that's what I thought it was gonna be, but I'm just putting that out there. It's not. But everything else, like I was not fully attached to for this film. So, which I was kind of bummed. And then I don't have much else to say for it, except that it was just, I don't want to say it's not it's not a weak film, but
it's generic.
That's the best way to even say it.
If you see in one movie where you have a high profile actor play like a stalker killer, and it does the whole thing of like, you don't know about their characters, but as the film goes on, you kind of like, if I can compare it to like, I'll compare it to Don't Breathe. With the Don't Breathe, we see Stephen Lang's character, and like you're thinking like, man, like these characters are like, they suck because they're robbing a blind guy. But then you learn more about his character. It's like, oh no, this guy's actually kind of a psychopath. So he's the worst of the two evils. And it's like, it's one of those things. Like we've seen it, like, and you mentioned Unhinged. That's another one where it's like, well, we have this and that for you've seen it. Like this movie's okay, but you've seen other tropes that this movie does in other films.
Yeah. And it falls for those tropes too, with the majority of it too. Because I was like, the best way you can even say is it's compared to those, but is it action? Does it have its action moments? Yeah. Like I didn't know what to expect because I didn't watch the trailer for this at all. I kind of went into like, all right, let's just see how this goes. Like if you showed me the trailer, I would have been like, all right, then I absolutely know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, like if you see I say don't watch the trailer for this, she's kind of going blind, but no, you'd probably be like, man, I have a serious case of deja vu. Like I've seen this before.
Yeah, so I could say I don't 100% recommend it, but I'll recommend it for J.K. Simmons. Like, if you just want to straight up watch generic, then go for it, but don't expect anything wowza.
Yeah, I'd
Which,
say that.
which I'm bummed to say, because I really wanted to give this movie a chance, and like this is like something that I've seen already, and I know there's better. So
I'll say this: if you are on vacation this summer and you're looking for something for the family to watch, it's just like, oh, here's a movie with like an actor. This is the movie I'd say. This is something I'd watch like when I'm on vacation.
yeah, this is kind of it's kind of even more like you watch on the plane or you like fall asleep to on the plane.
Yeah, honestly, to be honest.
Yeah. So do you recommend it, Mac?
Yeah, I'd say if you wanna, you just watch it like one night. Just do it.
Just do it. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. But those are our thoughts on You Can't Run Forever. So even though Mac and I were just kind of like on it, thanks to Lionsgate for letting us check it out early. And be
Thank
sure to
you.
check it out in theaters and on digital on demand starting this Friday, May 17th.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're gonna get into the other film that we're here to talk about today too, as well. And that is
The Fall Guy.
This does not seem safe, man. Exactly.
Rated PG-13.
Send
Which
me
is-
your heart. I don't know how that song goes. Damn it.
Also, I'm sure I hope you all checked this out, but Mac and I recently just did a rewatch and watch along of Bullet
Bullet
Train. So
Train.
we hope you enjoy that as well. So now we are jumping in back into the world of David Leitch for his latest action-packed film that is The Fall Guy, that is a love letter to summer blockbuster movies and the stunt team that we love appreciating on this show, right? We love our stunt teams here.
Yeah, stunt people
We love the stunt
deserve
work.
all the credit, and pretty much what Ryan Gosling and David Leitch said, like, this movie was pretty much made to get stunt people an Oscar category. And I think after a movie like this, I'm like, yeah, we need to do that, because to be honest with you, that kind of started with the whole Chad Stileski and Keanu Reeves were saying that when they did John Wick 4, they were really pushing for stunt people to get more recognition for like awards, and I guess Fall Guy is going to be the next follow up to that. So hopefully they'll be able to maybe do something with that.
I mean, I'm happy it's more getting recognition. Not that it was also being praised by the SAG community, because the SAG community, when they do the SAG Awards, that award show has its own category as well.
Mhm.
But am I always impressed with the winners? No, unfortunately.
Well, you know.
Because but that happens. But The Fall Guy was something I was absolutely crazy to see in theaters, and I must say I was so happy to get to pay the top dollar ticket for this, because this is like worth the $15 like IMAX fee for me.
It was pretty. I saw it opening night, Thursday. It came out at 7 o'clock with my dad. I paid a little extra for IMAX. I had a little bit of discount off. And it was that I saw the trailers, and I'm like, my friend at work said like, hey, it's based on a TV show from like back in the day with Lee Majors. I said, oh, okay, cool. And the trailers, I'm like, okay, this actually seems like really, really funny. Like I might want to give it a watch. And
The great part of this is, if you didn't know The Fall Guy was a TV show, this just stands perfectly on its own, I think, as a film, for what it wants to tell its story. Because I haven't watched The Fall Guy. I went into this film knowing nothing about it and just going in excited, knowing this had a great cast, a really strong director, and something that was going to be totally crazy fun.
Yeah, I'd say it does. It definitely. Well, keep in mind, the Fall Guy originally was in the 1980s. So that was before any of us were born. But doing research on it, it is kind of interesting to see that you're reading the plot of the original one, and it is a stuntman, but it has a lot more elements to it to make it more like as an episodic weekly TV series. And I know that they're saying that there might be a sequel, and reading from the TV show, I feel like that it actually could work as a sequel, or like to tell more stories with that.
I would love for this. I would love the Fall Guy film itself to get a sequel, but I don't think we need a sequel.
Well,
But
technically, this is a prequel to Drive
oh,
because
interesting.
Ryan Gosling's a stunt guy, and then Drive he
True.
was a stunt. Like it clicked
This
with me. I'm
is if
like,
he didn't work, him and Emily Blunt didn't work out on the film.
yeah.
But we talked about this film with our friend Dom on Talking TV, and we both loved the film.
Yes, it was
And
definitely a fun movie. Yeah, it was a fun movie.
was there a scene to you that you enjoyed the most? Because Ryan Gosling is in just about every single scene and just about kills it.
I'd probably say because it's been a while since it was back in May 3rd. It's already May 15th. Good God, so I'm trying to like bring back to it. I think one of my favorite moments was when I think with like Ryan Gosling as a whole, if you use him correctly, he is like a great action guy, a drama guy, but the best thing about him is that he's funny. Like he is like his dry delivery and like he has like a sort of wit to him. It works. But I think my favorite scene in the movie is when I'm not gonna do too much spoilers with it, but
No, I don't want us to spoil this film.
There's a part where Emily Blunt is beating someone up and she thinks it's like not him, and he's like, "You did a good job."
Yes,
he's like,
the costume.
Yeah, he was in a costume and she was beating him up. He's like, "You did a good job. You pulled out the ballpoint pen before the poison set it." Like, okay, yeah, that's kind of funny. That's like there's so many like I'm trying to like think back on like what were more good. Oh, another good scene was they were like, "Hey, do you know how to do things behind your back?" It's like, "Yeah, I did like the Miami Vice stunt back in the 80s, jumping through a hoop of fire in a speedboat with my hand side of my back." And it makes it funnier because Don mentioned it of like, well, the Miami Vice is like in the 80s and this is in 2024. So how old is this guy? Like he's gotta be he's gotta be like in his 60s, in his 40s or something. And
he's
doing
built.
Yeah, oh my goodness, yeah.
And then I really liked the fact that Ryan Gosling pretty much fits his character, because Ryan Gosling is an actor who can pretty much do anything.
He's
and it's
multiverse.
watchworthy. And he always takes on unique roles that he's never done before. Like each role, like you look back, whether it be Drive, The Nice Guys, La La Land, Barbie, The Notebook, anything that you look at in his long film career.
He's very, like I said, he's like
versatile.
He's versatile and he's a utility man. Like no matter what you see, I still think besides Drive, his best role to me is The Nice Guys. Like that is an underrated role.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Showed his
and
comedic
that should have been a
timing.
film that should have gotten him a Golden Globe, should have gotten more recognition by the public.
Well, you know, Angry Birds came out at the same time,
yes,
so it's kind of screwed.
And F you Angry Birds, because
actually no, I like Angry Birds. That's kind of
no, okay. I'm angry about Angry Birds. I'm putting it out there. I'm angry at Angry Birds.
Angry Birds.
Yep, very angry.
But no, Ryan Gosling is a very versatile actor. Now I gotta give credit too. Emily Blunt was good in this movie as well too.
It's pretty well. To be fair, it's also bringing the world of Barbie and Oppenheimer together in a film, which is like, what is a summer blockbuster movie like this bringing two of the biggest films of 2023 together in a film? So
do you think they did it on purpose?
Maybe, because
or was it just
they both filmed this was you know, Barbie and Oppenheimer were filmed first before The Fall Guy, and it just maybe was coincidental that this was like their next project.
Because it says that in 2020 that's when they got so maybe they're like, it's just a coincidence of like, yep, no, you guys are just the love interest in both of your summer blockbuster films that damn near broke everything. So we'll have it. It was just funny, but they had good chemistry. I think like
they have good chemistry.
That's
They're really good.
I was like, oh man, I don't really care about the love. Like I wanted to see the action, but that love story is actually kind of the backbone of the story. Because I will say with The Fall Guy, the story is pretty weak. That's probably the weakest element of the movie.
It's kind of like what people I said, like they say it's very thin. And I that's the only like weak I could say for like everything in this film pretty much gets an A for. That's like the weakest thing, but I think what kept me interested was all the excitement this film had and just the performances, like everything that this film had going for it succeeds except for the the story. But then I feel like that's so minute, even though it's so important, that it just focuses on so much other stuff going on.
Yeah, which I feel like that was on purpose because it's kind of showing the chaotic nature of like making a movie. Because like some people were specifically Dom, like shout out to Dom. He made some comparisons to this and Tropic Thunder, how it's about the making of a movie, and there is a lot
Yeah,
of meta jokes with like making a movie.
and I
And I
agree
feel
with that. Yeah.
and I feel like that there are some elements of like it's just so chaotic because they gotta, Emily Blunt's character, she's a first time director, and Ryan Gosling's Colt, he's like a cog in the machine, but he's the integral cog because he's a stuntman, and the stuntman's got to do a lot. And I think his character goes through a good arc in the film too. Like that's another thing I wasn't
That and
expecting.
Winston Duke, they both
Yeah.
go through great character arcs that show what the stunt work, team has to go through. Is it extreme what they do? I think depending like how the story goes, yeah. But it just shows like what's the rigorous, training and the setups that they do, whatever they do to get that perfect, shot, that cinematic shot,
Mhm.
So I mean, thinking about it too, like, it's cool seeing at the end where they show like how the film is like put together in the end with the stunt team, which
Yeah.
I did like, and it just makes me think and appreciate. Not that I never appreciate the stunt team to be people to begin with. Um, like when I look at films like even now, the next movie I'm definitely going to see is Mad Max, the Mad Max Furiosa film, and I just can't even imagine the stunt works that film even holds.
Well,
You
what's
know,
great about a movie like that and Fall Guy is that the stunts are practical. They ain't no CGI or anything. Like for God's sakes, the
Mhm.
Fall Guy set a Guinness World Record for the most canon.
roles
Um,
performed in a car.
yeah, that's impressive. Like there's a at the end of the movie in the credits there during the side reel, it's all the stunt work that they did in
Mhm.
the film, and it's a lot. They did a lot of stunt work in this movie, and it paid off. There was like a lot of there was like oh, it was good. I loved it, and it made it more authentic.
This film is very authentic of what it wants to be and what it is. Like what I said before, like if you go into this film not knowing a single clue that this was based on a TV show, then it's pretty much sells itself at being what it is. Even though there is a post-credit scene that shows like, the OG cast. That's not really a spoiler thing that's been talked about and, online already. But
Mhm.
everything else really succeeds. Even the stuff with Aaron Taylor Johnson, because this is the second time him and David worked together.
Yeah.
Because they were both in Bullet Train. Aaron's also in this film, but he's not entirely in it, I don't think, as much because his character goes missing, and Ryan is pretty much the guy that has to go find him.
I will say Aaron Taylor Johnson was like hilarious in this movie, and
He's a goofball in this film.
he proves to me like I love this guy because
He's like that
honestly
high profile actor energy where he sees all that and stuff.
I feel like I have not seen him like this funny since like Kick Ass, and it's been like a minute. Like he was funny in Bullet Train, but like he's been playing a lot of like serious stuff and stuff like that. But I think like he has shown like some comedic chops for the first time since like Kick Ass. That was like 14 years ago.
I will say he's a better actor in these big Hollywood films, like even in Avengers and stuff, and like Kick Ass. Like he's really good in those, but like compared to like the smaller films, like no, I can't say that now because he's incredible in Nocturnal Animals. And
Mhm.
that's what earned him his Golden Globe. He's incredible and scary in that film. But, however, just not including Nocturnal Animals, the one film that he's not really great in is like the one that he was in with his wife. It was released a couple of years ago. It was called A Million Little Pieces.
Yeah.
Like that's now. And then like he was like in
Let's hope Craven the Hunter
even
doesn't screw him up that much.
yeah, let's hope that one does. Because like even if you look at his film career, like even like Godzilla, as much as I don't love that film, he's good to watch in it.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, he besides Kraven the Hunter, which is probably not gonna be good, he's got Nosferatu coming this year, and then next year we're getting the long-awaited sequel, 28 years later, and I'm so pumped for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting to see.
Awesome.
And then one thing I want to acknowledge that we haven't acknowledged yet is Hannah Waddingham, who's one of my favorites from Ted Lasso.
Mhm.
She's also really good in this movie.
She just plays
Like,
the stereotypical producer, and it's funny.
She's great. And here's the thing, like she was having so much trouble with her career, like navigating it. Like it wasn't until like Ted Lasso or like pretty much, got her career and was like, more recognition that she's in. And now she's like been doing all these incredible like film roles. So
Mhm.
it makes me happy that she's getting like all this incredible work, because now she's going to be starring in Mission Impossible, which I'm
Yeah.
so excited for. I just love Hannah so much, and she's so talented, and she's great here. So I just love a lot of stuff about this movie. To me, this is a Hall H movie, and
They actually play that as a joke in the movie too, with the Hall
yes,
H.
I was going to say that's an ongoing joke in the film. Definitely a Hall H movie. But if you haven't seen The Fall Guy, please go see it. I highly encourage it. This is like one of my top favorite films of the year.
Kind of was a
Just
bomb, unfortunately, though, at the box office. Didn't really make him a lot of money.
yes, I have a feeling it's just gonna crack, or
Well,
just maybe break even,
I just
or not even break even, but it's just earn its budget back. I think
this will probably pick up more steam when it comes to streaming and DVD.
definitely streaming. But I just wish more people would go see it because it was good.
If you want a fun throwback to like the early before COVID, that summer blockbuster movie that's just fun, you turn your brain off, you just have fun with it, I think Fall Guys the film for you.
Yes, definitely. So I gave it like an A- on my scale. So
I gave it a B plus because the story was still weak to me, but it was a fun movie, so I can forgive it.
good enough.
Oh, I will say, if you want to, a couple fun facts.
Yes, bring 'em on.
The writer Drew Pierce for this movie, he directed Hotel Artemis. Fun
Yes,
fact.
he did.
And in the stages of the movie, originally McG was in talks to direct it, and you know who would have played Colt Severs?
Who?
The Rock.
No.
So
We got to talk about The Rock at some point, because The Rock is on this crazy hate train right now.
To be continued. Yeah, there's an alternate timeline where our favorite director McG from the classic films such as The Babysitter, The Killer, the Babysitter, yeah, the Babysitter and Babysitter Killer Queen almost directed The Fall Guy with Dwayne Johnson as that. You know what's funny is that back in the day, like when The Rock was like red hot in Hollywood, I could see him being in a movie like this. Like this actually feels like something that would play to his strengths.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really that's all you got for it. Yeah. So yeah,
this was just a double feature episode that we wanted to put out into the universe.
Let's do a little double feature. If you guys are gonna check out You Can't Run Forever, like Chris said, it'll be available to watch this coming Friday, May 17th. And The Fall Guy, it's still in theaters right now for who knows how long, but still be up by the time this comes up. So go see it or watch it on streaming. Watch it. You need to watch it. Just watch it in general.
Just watch it. Just go watch them.
But stay tuned for next episode. We got
because the next episode should be Mad Max Furiosa.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about our first ever Mad Max episode ever, because I don't think we ever mentioned Mad Max before.
No, we haven't. We have not.
Wild.
We haven't talked about Mad Max, and
that'll be the first Mad Max movie I see in theaters. Hopefully,
amazing. It's gonna be my second. I'm excited.
Lucky. And then after that, we might have we're gonna have a special watch along for a certain Sony movie that was in
over
theaters.
The summer. Watch out for a special watch along.
Yeah, for a little he was with my mom in the Amazon.
That's right, y'all. If you don't know, Madam Web has hit Netflix.
That was the quickest turnaround. Oh my god.
So we're gonna eventually we'll have a watch along this summer.
And
So stay on the
praise it
tune for
for-
that. Mac and I are planning out our summer schedule for y'all to check out. But for now, like we said, go check out The Fall Guy and You Can't Run Forever.
Yeah. And let us know down in the comments if you watched it. What did you think of The Fall Guy or You Can't Run Forever? We're always open to hear more. But until next time, I've been Mac. This has been Kristen, and you've been listening to the M&K Productions Podcast. We see you all in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.